Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Doomlink's Life Hunt series. I'm happy to say that this time around my voice and the quality of it should be an improvement upon the last recording. I was still getting over a sickness during that live stream, and I remember saying at the start of the live stream that usually when people, give notice of the fact that they may sound sick or not sound 100%, I almost can never hear it. But no, I could definitely hear it in myself. I couldn't necessarily hear it when I was talking, but watching it back, no, it was very clear that I was not operating at 100%, let's say, efficiency. Just opening up my live stream on my phone. I do actually have that to monitor the chats this time. I don't have to awkwardly look off to the side in order to read things. It makes a big difference. I mean, it's not like that's a huge physical movement of the body to turn your head, but believe me, it's the difference between having to move your head and not. And if all you need to do is move your eyes from the screen that you're playing on down to a smaller screen, that is so much easier to read the chat. It is easier for me to keep up with it under those circumstances. But if I'm having to turn my head, it means that I'm looking away from the game, and yeah, that means I'm disinclined at that stage to check the chat quite as often. Anyway, that was an exciting explanation. We've got two... I don't know why this person is lamenting the fact that the game is 3 weeks away from disappearing. This guy is not even contributing to the community by making a room that everyone can join. He has instead decided that he's only going to allow his friends to join, so I don't know if his lamentations really hit their mark. Vibing, that's a nice modern buzzword. Vibing, feeling the vibes, man, etc. Phoebe at HR7 needs help with Goldbeard's Cedeus, which is interesting. You don't often see an actual target these days. Usually it's just a target of any, with the expectation that there's going to be a few different things that we do in the room. But no, this person literally just wants to do Goldbeard's Cedeus. I want to help Phoebe, but I also don't have much confidence in that room really taking off, because there is a very specific objective. I think an objective, or rather a target, of any is a little bit more realistic and more welcoming as well. I have received exhortations from viewers to record as much 3 Ultimate as possible until the servers are closed, but quite frankly, I don't need any encouragements when it comes to that. I did already have plans to do that. I'm not going to be recording any other Monster Hunter game anyway. I might record other games, depending on how much I'm recording in general, but yeah, 3 Ultimate is going to feature quite prominently on my channel until the servers are gone. I think I touched on it very, like on a surface level in the previous recording, but I will be moving my current save onto the PC again, so obviously I've already done that, but I will send another, more updated version of that save file just before the servers go down. I'm not too sure at this stage if it will be possible to even do the save file transfer when online functionality has been removed from the Wii U. My guess is that it won't be possible. My reason for assuming that being that it's only through network connectivity that you're even able to transfer from the Wii U to the 3DS. Just to make it very clear, that is actually how I get it onto the PC. I go from Wii U to 3DS and then from 3DS to PC. If those devices can't connect to the internet anymore, see, that's where I'm not too clear. Like, presumably it would use the Nintendo network in order to make that connection. I don't think the apps themselves... I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe as long as you've got those applications and those devices are connected to the internet, maybe it completely bypasses the Nintendo network. That's possible as well. I don't know how they work. That really is the the situation. I don't know who Torg So Cool is, but that is a person who has joined the live stream. Welcome. It seems like the people who were on a quest have finished their quest. I haven't actually seen everyone's hunter rank, so we've got this guy at hunter rank 101, and it looks like the other person is HR 7, which is fine. That actually works rather well. I was feeling a little bit of contrition, quite frankly, that I chose not to help that HR 7 person purely on the basis that their room information was, you know, not really up to standard, in my opinion. At the end of the day, I want to be able to help people who are just coming into G rank, but it seems that I have been given the opportunity to help an HR 7 in the end. Oh, it looks like, am I getting, oh, room closure, I think. Yeah, see you later from the room host. So I'm going to leave this room so that I don't get disconnected, and now I'm going to have to find another room. Push for G2. HR6 is high rank or G rank? It's G rank, so that is the first HR of G rank. I wasn't entirely sure because, again, I play a lot of different Monster Hunter games, so little details like that sometimes slip your mind. But no, I'm quite sure that it starts at HR6 and goes from there to HR8, at which point you are given your chance to break your HR cap. That was a little bit unfavorable in the sense that I was sitting there waiting for those people to come back and then they just closed the room anyway. Could have obviously been worse. I could have been sitting there for 10 minutes only to have the room close on me. It's funny how often that happens. That sounds really difficult to imagine. You know, a situation where you're sitting in the room for 10 minutes and the person in the hunt knows that you're there waiting and simultaneously knows that when they get back they're going to close the room. It's incredible that they don't actually, or rather it's incredible that it's unlikely that they will actually inform you that they're going to close the room, but that's precisely how it happens. You will actually be sitting there waiting for nothing. Literally waiting for a room that no longer will exist. This is a game where if the room host closes the room, that's it. You don't get any sort of host migration. It's going to close the room, and that's the end of that session. So, as unreasonable as it sounds, it is a common experience that you will have online in Monster Hunter. There are a lot of experiences that you will commonly have in online Monster Hunter that seem totally disconnected to any sort of notion of online courtesy or, I guess, collegiate interactivity. You're not going to get any of that. It's just... a lot of it is just mindless interaction, I guess is what you would say. We happen to be in the same general space, but we're not going to acknowledge the nuances of that. You know, we're just... I'm going to do what suits me, and that's it. That's what online Monster Hunter feels like. It's a shame. And I have to stress that it is not specific to a version of Monster Hunter. Not at all. If it seems like I'm going to have to sit here waiting for a long time for people to come back, then I may actually do an edit in the VOD, just because, you know, when you tune into a live stream with me, as much as there's going to be an expectation of listening to me talk and not stop talking, obviously it would be preferred that you watch me playing a game while I'm also talking my head off. So I don't want to only have one half of the whole picture. And with that being said, I think I'm going to make that edit now. I will see you when these people get back, or if I am ready to actually depart on a hunt of some kind. The creeping venom. Alright. I will try to communicate with these people proactively, because otherwise they might leave me behind or not value my presence or whatever. I'm going to say hi. The reason why it's important that I'm communicating with them is that I can see that they're not going to be taking the time to get ready for the quests. They probably have limited equipment, so they will be joining the quest straight away. That puts me at a disadvantage because I will need to take that time. And if they decide that they don't want to hunt with me or they don't care whether I join or not, they might just be in the situation where they are all ready to go and I'm not, and they just leave without me. It sounds harsh, but that is precisely how these things play out, and I need to do my best to prevent that from happening. I'll use a lance. Do I have a... well, I definitely do have an Awaken Fire Lance. It is the... I can't remember what it's called, but I know what it looks like. I can't believe that I don't. It's the Elder Babel Spear, or the Lost Babel, whatever. Looking very yellow in this game. It's supposed to be a bit more gold than yellow. But I guess you could say that's a yellowy gold. There is such a thing as yellow gold, of course, but... that is technically what they call gold as you or I would understand it to look like. There is, of course, you know, rose gold and white gold, and, you know, standard gold is called yellow gold, so maybe I'm being unfair by suggesting that somehow it's mutually exclusive, you know, it's either gold or yellow. No, it can be yellow gold, but anyway. What an absolutely scintillating point of discussion, Doomlink. Would you like to expand upon that further? Would you like to elucidate in more detail on, you know, the shades of gold and brown and yellow that make up what we believe to be gold, or whatever? What did I... oh. Instead of consuming a hot drink, I consumed a Psycho Serum, which is unhelpful. You're probably going to see me use a lot of Awaken equipment because... or a lot of Awaken loadouts, because I have a thing for Awaken. I have a penchant for it. I love bouncing, and therefore being unable to counter anything. That's my favourite thing. Just to remind you all, I do have Purple Sharpness, so I was not really anticipating the fact that I'd be bouncing. But as I have frequently demonstrated in these live streams, Purple Sharpness doesn't mean you're going to hit through everything. It just doesn't. If you've got motion sickness, don't put yourself between a Giganox and a wall, because you're going to glitch on his body. That was good. Managed to flinch him out of doing an attack that cannot be blocked unless I have guard up. And I don't think I have guard up with this set. I might, but I do. That's good. This is actually a pretty solid loadout. I do find it really disgusting that he puts this almost sandy-looking egg on his back. I say, you know, it looks like sand. It's grainy and ugh. It's a bit nasty. More than a bit nasty. Yeah, I actually feel good that I'm hunting with these guys. It feels a little bit more meaningful because the servers are closing down soon. These guys are playing through the game together. They've just entered G rank. And yeah, I just feel like a person that can guide them through. I don't know what Jacob's doing. Was he in the room with us? I didn't... What killed you, man? I don't know what's going on. Anyway, it just feels nice to be the high-ranked person helping these people out, because I'd like to think that this will be a memorable experience for them, you know, playing this game just before the servers disappear. And I'm happy that I can be a part of that. One thing that I haven't really done since Monster Hunter Tri is created an armor set that is designed to resist all of the inconveniences. You know, one of those sets that doesn't really have any benefits relating to increased damage or increased defense necessarily, but something like, you know, a high, you know, like wind pressure, stun resistance, tremor resistance, one of those armor sets. I think I did have a set like that in Monster Hunter Tri, but I haven't actually used one of those since then. I think the reason why I had a set like that in Monster Hunter Tri, and I'd also like to briefly comment on the fact that a bunch of Giggies just poured out of that Giganox, which was nightmare fuel. I think the reason why I did that in Monster Hunter Tri was because, quite frankly, I didn't have much else to do. That was one of those games where I can safely say that I basically did everything because that was my only way to continue enjoying playing. So whenever I say to you, oh, I did this at some point in my monster hunting career, but I haven't done it since Try, it's because I did it in Try due to a lack of things to do in general, so yeah, that was a positive and a negative thing. Obviously, much of what kept me coming back to Monster Hunter Try was not just the game itself, it was the community within the game. There's no way I could have kept myself entertained just through whatever the game had to offer for as long as I played that particular iteration in the series. No way. I maybe could have entertained myself for about 1,000 hours, but not over 2,000. That's unrealistic. No apology from Connor, but whatever. I think there should be an apology that goes out when you do something like that. If I was standing near the head, obviously I'm fair game at that point. You can hit me as much as you want, because I'm actually strongly of the view that the hammer user does have all rights to the head. Thought that I'd be able to hop back enough there. But yeah, I think, you know, hammer users have a right to the head, and if you're standing within the general vicinity of the head and you get hit, you just have to take that on the chin and accept it. But if you're using a hammer and you're upswinging and super pounding things that aren't the head, you know, just apologize for it. Show some recognition for the fact that you've inconvenienced your fellow team members, I suppose. Potato says that without the community, Try would have died within the first month. I think that's being a bit dramatic. It definitely would have, it wouldn't have lasted more than a year, I don't think. But if you recall, Monster Hunter Try kept on maintaining its interest with the people who were playing it, and new people were coming on board as well. There were a lot of people who had only just come on board to play Monster Hunter Try when the servers went down. You know, I was still seeing people who were of a low hunter rank playing the game, and since the closure of the servers, I've heard a few stories from people who have said that they just missed out on playing the game while the servers were up, which was a crying shame. But yeah, the community definitely was a big part of that game's success. Or, I suppose, the sustained success of the game. The initial success was down to a few factors, one of which was actually advertising. That is one of the reasons why a lot of people who played World actually said, oh, I haven't played a Monster Hunter game since Monster Hunter Try. You actually noticed that there was a decent percentage of World players when that game came out who said that they had played Monster Hunter Try, and that is honestly because of advertising. And also prominent positioning within game stores. You know, I remember the in the Wii section in game stores in Australia, you'd be hard-pressed to miss Monster Hunter Try. So, yeah, like it was immediately visible to me, not just because I was familiar with the series, but because it was prominent. So, yeah, advertising was definitely a big part of the initial success of that game. My stamina is fine, what are you talking about? This is case in point. You know, the quest is over before my stamina reaches critical levels, so why should I bring stamina recovery items? I probably should get out of that habit, though. It's a bad habit. I've acknowledged that it's a bad habit. I mean, I can justify why I don't do it. But obviously, you guys have watched enough of my live streams to know that on occasion I do get myself into hot water by not actually bringing any stamina recovery materials. It's a contingency, you know. It's not something to be used in every single quest. It's not necessary in every single quest, but it's there as a contingency in case you actually need some goddamn stamina to play the game. Thanks for the resub, Potato. I'm not actually going to do another Try stream for a little while. But just because it's getting really, really difficult to find people who are playing in the end game. There's so many people just doing like the starting part of high rank. I want to have more variety, okay? The situation with Monster Hunter Tri is that there are not many quests in that game. So if I'm limited to only the high rank quests from HR 31 to 41 or whatever, that's really going to curtail my options. Now, even if I was hunting with people who are HR 51 and above, that's still not that many high rank quests to choose from. Do you see my point? Even in the best case scenario, I don't have that many quests to choose from, but it's becoming increasingly likely when I go on to play that game that I'm not actually going to have any people who are in the end game of Tri to play with. And all it takes is one guy. All it takes is one guy to join the room who is not able to do the actual end game quests to then force everyone else to hunt at their level. Now, obviously someone's going to hear me say that and say that I'm being selfish and unsupportive of people playing through the game, but that is not the point here. I'm trying to record a live stream for entertainment purposes, and if I'm going to be entertaining for other people, I need to myself also be entertained. And I don't want to hunt Rathalos. Or, well, no, I have a better example. I don't want to be hunting Rathian for HRP for some guy who's at HR 35 every single time I go and play Monster Hunter Tri. I'm sick of it. I don't want to do it. So, I'm not saying that I'm never going to do Tri again. My point is that it is not going to feature frequently on my channel. It'll be a nice thing to have as a variety game. Just something to break up any sort of monotony if there were any to speak of. But, yeah, there's going to be a bit of a break from Tri. I will be playing it in my own time. That's another thing that bothers me. I hate going onto Monster Hunter Tri and just feeling like my armor sets are not up to snuff. I just don't have any talismans in that game, and so I'm doing my best to try and get them, but if you're not mining for talismans, guess what the best way to get them is? Doing the HR 51 quests, and I'm struggling to find people to do that with, even in my own time, even when I have the flexibility to wait. And I don't feel like I have the flexibility to sit around waiting awkwardly while I'm live, so yeah, it's not that easy, is what I would say. But when I do jump on and play that game, I generally do enjoy myself. It's not just those monsters, Star Fury, it's also the quests themselves that are in the final star level of high rank in Monster Hunter Tri. Like the multi-monster ones. Like you've got the endgame Double Trouble quest, you've got Uragan and Agnaktor, you've got the double Diablos quest. You know, within that list, you've got the maximum HR requirement, which is 51, and you actually get good Time-Worn Charm rewards from those quests for the most part. Some quests I think are better than others. But the point is that it's difficult to actually get people to do those quests with whenever I go online. So we've got Barioth and Baleful Giganox on the board right now. I'll just use Raw or Status. Presumably these guys already have Slime covered, so I'm not going to be using that. I could bring Paralysis. I also have to be quick, as I've mentioned before. Yeah, okay. This technically isn't Paralysis. It is, well no, I should phrase it in the opposite way. This technically is a Paralysis weapon, but the Paralysis is so pathetic that I'm unlikely to actually get it off before each monster dies. So, there you go. It's only, in true status values, it is 19 Paralysis, which is miserable. Minuscule. Infinitesimally small as a value for applying any sort of status, but it does occasionally happen that I'm able to get the status off. But I feel like with a Gunlance it's even less likely. Gunlance is not known for being able to apply status at speed. Yeah, well, obviously that was not a great idea, having a subscription service for the Japanese version of Monster Hunter Tri. I don't know what Capcom were thinking, but yeah. Especially at that time, you know, you have to understand that in 2009, Monster Hunter was literally dominating Japan and its culture. So I have got no idea why they felt like they needed to have that sort of ongoing financial contribution from the players to keep the servers going. I would cautiously theorize that it was greed. But I don't know the running costs involved. I've got no idea what the costs were. And whether or not the sale of the games themselves was enough to cover that with profit. I'm assuming that it was, and so therefore I'm guessing it was just greed on the part of Capcom. But obviously they instead neutered the success of their game in having done that. Because they are myopic and stupid. Which is Capcom in a nutshell. Yeah, that's possibly what it was. Seeing massively multiplayer online games raking in so much money from subscription fees. So they decided to do their own thing, but, you know, that's not how you approach it. You know, you don't do it with Monster Hunter Tri. They were already, at that time, doing it with Monster Hunter Frontier, so I don't know. I think I made that point last time we had this discussion. It is the fact that, you know, they had some cheek, expecting the Japanese player base to pay not one, but 2 subscription fees to play 2 Monster Hunter games at the time. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what were they thinking? Just greed, I suppose. But yeah, Monster Hunter Frontier was their opportunity to make money. Maybe it wasn't as successful at that time. Maybe Monster Hunter Frontier was notably less popular than the mainline series, and so they thought, oh, how about we attach a subscription to the mainline series? Oh, well, that fell flat on its face pretty quickly. I might stream Frontier, but it's not high on my list of priorities. Last time I talked about Frontier, I made it pretty clear that I wasn't having that much fun playing the game. It's okay, but, you know, it's not like a mainline game. I have priorities within the mainline series to focus on, to be honest. Namely, Monster Hunter 1, Monster Hunter G, and Monster Hunter DOS. I still have a lot of time that I need to put into those games before I feel like I can comfortably stream those games. I have actually streamed a little bit of Monster Hunter 1. I think I did 2 live streams of it. And that's all well and good, but I do actually prefer to record with a character that's well established. So, obviously that is not the case for either Monster Hunter 1 or Monster Hunter DOS. So, I suppose what I mean to say, in conclusion, is that any time that I would be spending on Monster Hunter Frontier to improve that character, I feel would be better spent on a mainline game for purposes of recording. Because I don't get as much fun out of Monster Hunter Frontier. And do you know what? I'm also a bit repelled by all of the stories that I hear about endgame Monster Hunter Frontier. Or at the very least the G rank, which I have yet to reach. You know, I'm still going through some fucking rank, I don't know what it is, I think it's high rank. If it was unclear in Monster Hunter Online, I can assure you it's also unclear in Monster Hunter Frontier as to what fucking rank I'm going through. But I have experienced going through one level of quests, and then doing the same monsters at a higher level, so presumably that's high rank. I just don't recall that being clearly advertised or clearly outlined. So, yeah, I'm guessing I'm at high rank, based on the fact that I'm fighting the monsters a second time now, with new ones obviously being introduced. I wouldn't say that I had fun with Monster Hunter Online, but I'm assuming you're being sarcastic. I actually would have liked to play more of that game. But yeah, I was disappointed at the time with the situation. I was disappointed that the servers were shutting down for Monster Hunter Online before I had actually brought myself to really build a good character. But then I looked at the situation and I said to myself, well, I was never going to be able to bring myself to build a well-developed character before these servers shut down, because I'm just not having fun. I'm not having enough fun, at least, to justify that sort of time investment, so yeah, I was not a fan. Been waiting so long for Jacob that my game actually went into sleep. Well, I don't even know what you call that. Is that sleep? You can't really call that standby or sleep. I guess we'll just say that the controller deactivated. Jacob is really quite absorbed in his menu options. Just doesn't know what to eat. I'd just eat whatever is in that giant pot that's overflowing up there. If you think about it, that pot overflowing would cause a huge issue. I think that would start to put out that fire, to be honest. I mean, unless it drains out somewhere. I suppose that's possible, but that should be just leaking all over this rock and putting out all of these fires, including this large piece of meat. I actually don't know how to refer to that. You know, it's like what they have in kebab shops. It's not rotisserie. Obviously, rotisserie is a little different to that. But it is rotating. And it is probably chicken. What's going on? I'm just going to assume, because these guys are friends, that they are in communication with one another outside of the game. So they probably know why this guy is gone, and I just have to sit around and wait. But that's fine. Doner, yeah, doner kebab. Yeah. I mean, Potato, we would have had this conversation in the past as well, but when Raviente first appeared in Monster Hunter Frontier, that was when I was really starting to feel the pain of not being able to play that game. I really wanted to experience that. Everyone wanted to be honest. Because it was this gigantic siege monster. Nothing like it had existed in the series up until that point that I was aware of. You know, forget Dalamadua, this thing was way larger. Obviously, he came out some years before Dalamadua, but my point is that even if you were to look back on it with the understanding of what's come out in the series since, Dalamadua doesn't compare to Raviente. The fight may not even be that good. My recollection of it was, you know, one particular recording that was uploaded, I think, late 2010, early 2011 or something. I can't remember precisely when Raviente came out, but it was around that time. I remember one of the recordings of it, probably the most prominent one, was a team of people, and the guy recording was using a lance, and I believe he and a few other people on the team were just charging into the Raviente with their lances. And that was like the first few minutes of the fight. You know? So maybe the fight wasn't all that good after all, I don't know, but it obviously had a certain wow factor that definitely made you want to try it out and to play the damn game to get to that point. And also the idea that you could be in a team greater than 4 people all hunting one monster. That also had a certain allure to it. Oh, it was 8 players. I thought it was 10, but if it's 8, then there you go. Makes more sense, because that would be double the standard. Since this guy is taking so long, I might actually get a drink of water. I'll ready up in case he comes back, and then they decide that they've waited so long they couldn't possibly wait for me as well. So, yeah, I'll be back in a moment with my own beverage. I don't know what Connor's doing. They may even leave him behind. I've only assumed that they are in communication outside of the game. Probably because there's been no participation in the chat outside of my initial greeting, so yeah. And they also seem perfectly willing to wait for Jacob, so... Anyway, I'll be back in a moment. I will get some water. I'm going to put some ice in the water as well, just to make it more exciting, because, as I mentioned during the intermission, which has been cut out of the VOD because I didn't want to sit here chatting away while doing precisely nothing for too long, I don't actually have any alcoholic beverages for this recording, which Sort of makes these moments where I'm just sitting here, hanging around doing nothing, a bit slower and duller, but whatever. I'm gonna go and get some water. I'll be back in a moment. I think I just witnessed the complete draining of that guy's patience. Which is fair enough. I think we waited like 10 minutes. Who knows? I don't know what happened with that guy. My microphone's too close, I think. Go away, Kazu. Oh, sorry, I'm bumping my boom stand. This is not really working how I intended for it to work. Stop it! No, don't combo me. That looked rather silly. It looked like I had jumped from a standing start. Or died from a standing start. Oh, for God's sake. Now that I think about it, this monster is a paralysis monster, so I don't expect him to be that susceptible to my paralysis status, but anyway. I don't know about you guys, but this seems like a really annoying Giganox. He's... By the way, I did call him Kezu before intentionally. That was not me misspeaking. I was calling him Kezu because he's got that... He's got a similar attack, though. I actually quite like Zora Magdaros. I like monsters like those. I do not, however, like Kulf Taroth. I think he's fairly boring. And weird looking. And let's not forget the weapons that he used to drop. Let's have a return of the Guild Quest weapon system, because that worked so good for 4 Ultimate, didn't it? Of course, it immediately trivialized the game. Such as the Glutton Heavy Bowgun. Shooting spread shot with 0 recoil. And shooting a lot of them. It was ridiculous. Anyway. I don't need to go down that route. I didn't mind Xeno'jiiva. I thought he was an interesting design. It sort of felt like a final boss. Had that feeling about him. Wasn't very difficult. I don't know what it is about this fight, I'm not feeling it. Something about this Giganox is really uncooperative and annoying. Maybe it's the fact that I'm using the gunlands. Just shut up, stop preventing me from hitting you. In a whole host of ways. I really need to, oh for fuck's sake. His body movements pushed me into it. I ended up getting hit by Connor, which was favourable for me. Star Fury, don't apologise for having an opinion, that's ridiculous. No, yep. There's something about this Giganox, I just cannot stand him. I feel like I'm doing a dance with him and he's just... You know, I'm doing the tarantella and he's, I don't know, doing the waltz. Or maybe the other way around. I just feel like I cannot sync with this monster in any way. Can I block this? Yes. I already did establish that I have guard boost on this set, so I don't know why I'm asking that question. I wish I didn't use gunlands. I've decided that I hate it for this monster. Lands works really well because you've got the opportunity to counter, or you've got the ability to counter. But I just feel like I need to be able to guard at any time with this monster, because that's the thing with Giganox, he is often quite close to your position. He tends to almost stick to you, I don't know why, he gives off that sort of impression. Admittedly, part of his combo is him actually moving towards you. He will deliberately move towards you, not dissimilarly to a Tigrex, for example, or a Nagakuga. But if I'm using a gunlance, you know, even though I've got a shield, if I'm going to be doing anything with my weapon to hit the monster, I can't really be shielding, so I almost walked into that guy's golf swing, which would have been quite funny. Would have been perfectly timed. See, I only barely was able to shield in time there. No, I did not play Iceborne. I had already stopped playing World by the time that came out. I may have technically been playing on PC when it was out on consoles. Technically. Because I did replay the game when it came out on PC, which was the year after, so 2019 I think. But, yeah. No, I never played Iceborne. Never had any desire to play it either. And as I sit here, I have minimal desire to even discuss it to any length. Or at any length. Where the hell's he gone? Oh, he's flying somewhere. Does that mean he's going... Ah, he's probably going this way. Yeah, if he flies from that position, it means he's going into one of the outside areas. Outdoor. Thought you were just going straight into an upswing on me. I actually got a paralysis! Remember when I said that I'd be hard-pressed to get a paralysis off before the monster died? Almost missed it. Almost missed it. Didn't get much benefit out of that, did I? Oh well. Got a nightmarish maw. I have reason to suspect that that's one of the rare items. One of the rarer drops, perhaps we'll say, of a Giganox. I don't think the Barioth has actually spawned yet. Oh, he has. Fuck off. Desist. Furry creature. I don't really see where you're coming from, Starfury. I don't think that Barioth is particularly different in Generations Ultimate versus this game. He's actually hardest in Monster Hunter Tri. He's deliberately designed to be harder in that game, so... Don't you love the glow of his eyes? Look at that. I do have a Wyvern Fire to shoot, but I will hold off on that. He could be more aggressive in Generations Ultimate, but the hunters are so much stronger in Generations Ultimate, I feel. And obviously you have access to much higher mobility styles of play in Generations Ultimate, so I think it balances itself out. I've just never really noticed a big difference with Barioth in that game. The only game where he is noticeably different and harder is Monster Hunter Tri. But you see, I only realised that going back to Tri after not having played it for a long time. Tri was the first game that Barioth was in, and so I took everything at face value. That was just my first experience with the monster. It wasn't until I had the benefit of comparison that I was able to see that he was particularly difficult in that game. He was a wall for a lot of people. Definitely a monster that people had a bad relationship with. I did at first, but I wasn't intimidated by him in the way that other people were, and that was because I was used to Tigrex and Nagakuga, and Barioth was definitely an amalgamation of those two monsters that I had fought before. At that time, when I was fighting Barioth for the first time in Monster Hunter Tri, I had experienced the trauma of soloing a fucking Tigrex in Freedom Unite, which, for me, was nothing like fighting a Barioth, so... Yeah, it didn't mean that I didn't find Barioth difficult at first, but it put me in better stead to deal with whatever he had to throw at me. I was probably a bit more resilient as well. Nick is saying Connor HP, possibly to remind him to heal. Presumably if he could heal, he would. I don't think he can. He's continuing to fight without healing himself. I don't know, maybe he forgot to bring potions, or who knows. Surely he hasn't exhausted his supply yet. Well, presuming he had a full supply, he couldn't have consumed it all yet, but anyway. We have our paralysis, and that is because my DPS has been pretty high for this quest. Sorry, for this particular monster. I didn't aim for the tail there because I didn't want to shorten the length of time that the paralysis was going to transpire for. I was attempting to loudly crunch on that ice, but it was such a small piece of ice that it just didn't really have that effect. So if you're wondering why I did this strange, almost bestial, crunching maneuver with my mouth. And for no real noticeable reason, that is what I was going for. The Lucent Nagakuga is an interesting fight, but I wouldn't call it a favourite fight because I actually find it to be unpleasant. I really dislike the poison spikes, so I can get that conceptually he might be a cool monster, but I couldn't possibly describe it as a favourite fight. No way in hell. Maybe if I had poison resistance. There we go. Well, Savage Deviljho is a pretty uncommon fight in this game. That is a weapon that I keep forgetting that I have. I have the Savage Deviljho switch axe in this game. It was one of the last weapons that I've made in this game, and I keep forgetting that I have it. I haven't used it more than maybe once or twice, ever. It has like that crazy dragon animation on it, I think. But yeah, that is not a monster that often shows up in online play in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. It's because he only appears in one quest as the main target, which is called Bottomless Beast. It's an event quest. And outside of that, he's just an invading monster, so... Yeah, and there's no indication that he's actually a Savage Deviljho. He is represented by the same name and image as a standard Deviljho would be. He's not actually referred to as Savage Deviljho. At this time, he was actually just called Hungry Deviljho. By the community, that is. I actually managed to get through quite a few potions in that quest. Hopefully the next monster will actually be weak to dragon, because then I'll be able to use my switch axe that I apparently completely forgot about. I think it's called the Selegia Ender Axe. Don't ask me how I can remember that. You see, the names of the weapons in this game, this is why the translation team is so good. The names of the weapons are so novel and stand out so much that I can actually remember them. They're just... It's strange, I don't really understand it. You'd think that if it was a really unique name, it wouldn't stick in your mind. But the uniqueness of the names actually makes them memorable in a weird way. Where is it? Yeah, the Selegia Ender Axe. Now, this, I think, is an Awaken weapon. And I made the decision that it's actually better to not use Awaken with it because it's already got a dragon file, and you're only getting 100 dragon on the axe mode. I just don't think it's worth it. It's better to just use some other set with it. Like, for example, the Nether set, which I might equip. Just to show you the axe if you haven't seen it. It's pretty cool. I almost never see people use it in this game. Maybe it doesn't have the dragon effect in this game. I know it does in Generations Ultimate, but perhaps not here. I suppose I can use it as a raw weapon. Really, we're doing it again. Why? Oh, they're doing key quests. And so, oh, what an annoyance. How stupid is that? So, because Jacob didn't turn up for the fight, and they're all doing their key quests together, we now have to do this quest a second time so that he can have it completed. What a joke. You could have just done something. Why didn't you guys just do a quest that would benefit you in terms of, I don't know, making equipment or weapons? You instead have elected to do a key quest twice when you didn't need to. It's so... Talk about brainless. It just frustrates me that I now have to do that same quest again because of something that could have been entirely avoided. I need to hurry up and choose something. What's a weird greatsword that I can use that's fun? I'm not using the Lordly Death Cap, that's not happening. I might bring the Eisenfaust, why not? It's a shit weapon, but... Oh, I do actually need high-grade earplugs for this quest. I don't think the Eisenfaust has any sort of awaken on it, does it? It'd be funny if it did. No, it doesn't. I was quite sure that it didn't. Which is a shame. I mean, the greatsword is such a worthless piece of garbage that you may as well give it the opportunity to get an additional element. But no, they don't even do that. What an insult. So yeah, I'm using the shit weapon as we speak, but I don't have many opportunities to do this, so... Well, thank you for waiting, Jacob. That's nice of you. Could you imagine if Jacob actually departed without me? That would be the greatest irony, considering that I waited 10 minutes for him last time. Alright, see you, potato. That's probably a pretty good reason to stop watching a live stream and go to sleep. Because he said, my brain is liquid, I'm shutting down. Strong words. Yeah, you probably should go to sleep. Thunder on the Tundra, take 2. And it really is like deja vu. Except this time I'm not using a fucking gun lance. Thank God for that. I'm just gonna punch this monster repeatedly. And and just annihilate all these baggy as well. That was quite satisfying. Managed to reach the Giganox there with that draw attack. It's so funny, isn't it, that I feel like I have so much more control with this weapon, despite the fact that this is also a very, very low mobility weapon type like the gun lance. But I just feel that with this low mobility, I still have more control. It's difficult to describe. Gun lance just feels awful. I hate that weapon type. My least favourite weapon types, forever and always, will be switch axe and gun lance. Which upsets some people, you know, they think gun lance is real cool because, you know, it's a lance that shoots, oh my god, it's a gun and a lance, so it must be great. I think it's Pierce. But, you know, everyone's got their preferences. Speaking of Pierce, oh, yeah, also speaking of Pierce. I'd like for you to go away. But I was actually going to comment on my terrible weapon. Need to get the hell out of there. I'm not going to sharpen this weapon up, even though it really would help. I would have to sharpen it so frequently that I don't think I can bring myself to do it. But yeah, the white sharpness actually would make a significant difference to this weapon's ability to do anything. But I will settle for blue for now. Again, for those unfamiliar with the stats of this weapon, let it be sufficient for me to say, or let it suffice, or suffice it to say, that is the phrase that I'm looking for. Let it be sufficient to say. Suffice it to say, it's terrible, and you should trust me. If you don't trust me, avail yourself of the internet and its immense convenience. Okay, apparently Star Fury also has a liquid brain now, so he has to go to sleep. No problem. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye for now. Almost got caught in that. I don't have any dung bombs. I really should, but I don't carry them. You know, that's something that I could benefit from having in my pouch, but I just don't bring it. Dung bombs and stamina recovery materials. I always feel a bit awkward using this weapon because I feel like someone's going to tune into the live stream, see me using this weapon, and they're going to assume that because I'm using it, I actually think it's good. I don't. I'm using it for fun. I'm just afraid someone's going to see it and go, is he really using that greatsword? I'm doing it ironically, I can assure you. Yeah, it's been very interesting to watch so many people in this community use the Deviljho Great Axe. Great Axe. The Deviljho Greatsword. Oh, Jesus. That's a bit of a nasty attack. It comes out of nowhere, doesn't it? But yeah, it's been strange watching people prefer to use, as their raw greatsword, the Deviljho Greatsword without any sort of awaken, which makes sense, because they're using it as a raw greatsword. That was a little bit unnecessary for me to explain. But it's been weird watching them use that instead of the Serra Symmetry. I'm going to assume that it's because it's easier to make. You know, they probably have been fighting Deviljho anyway, and they have the materials to make it. Maybe the only difficult part would be getting a crook if they don't already have one, and, you know, it's still a good weapon to use. It may also have a little bit more purple sharpness, but honestly, the Serra Symmetry, in my opinion, is noticeably better. It is measurably better, I suppose is what I'd say. Why are we splitting up like this? For what purpose are we doing this? You know, Connor is using a hammer. I can see that the Giganox is now limping, but these guys don't know that the monster's close to death. You know, Connor is using a type of weapon whose key benefit actually is in how the team can exploit the knockout phase of the monster. So, there you go. If there's only, two of us to take advantage of that instead of 4, we're obviously quite unnecessarily reducing our potential damage. Geez, that lightning actually went really far. One of them actually continued going. I don't know if you could see that, but that was incredible. That just kept on going for a good few minutes there. I don't know if Connor is lost, or if he's doing something else, or... I mean, perhaps he's mining. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's probably mining. I don't know if these people don't want their calves or what, but they're not going to get them if they're not quick. I'm not talking about Connor, I'm talking about the two that are currently engaging the Barioth in combat. Oh, it looks like they're both leaving to go and get their calves, which is fine, but... yeah. I was going to say that if they're not quick about it, this monster will despawn. It happens really quickly in this game. So... yeah, they're going to get their calves. They obviously know the risks of that. I think the monster corpses only stay there for about 2 minutes before despawning in this game. It's incredible. They do not last at all. Come on. I'm surprised that actually didn't make contact with me. I must have just gotten around the hitbox. Very good. Well, that quest was much less painless. Much less. I enjoyed that, actually. It's amazing to go from one of my least favorite weapon types to one of my favorite weapon types and be doing the same quest, because it's a very clear comparison in terms of the experience that I've had. And yeah, even though I did the same quest twice, I actually had fun with the second one, because I feel so comfortable and so at ease when using the greatsword, whereas, you know, the precise opposite can be said for when I'm using the gun lance. One of the things that does bother me about this game is that I am deliberately ensuring that I'm not going above 99 for all monster material stacks, which just, it adds an extra dimension of work to the process of receiving stuff. But to me, the fact that I have to do it in this game, but I don't really have to do it in other games, shows me that they do not have enough box spaces in this game at all. Yeah, 10 is just not sufficient. Anyway. Yeah, the best case scenario is when these materials just end up at the back of the box. That way I can sell them nice and quickly. I had a theory which was that I could sell the materials at the, I guess, the shop, the vendor, whatever you want to say. But that makes, that's a little bit awkward, and the reason why is because I don't actually know what materials in my pouch need to be sold until I go into that screen. So basically, I would be going from there to the box, and the vendor is further away than the box, so it's like I'm going back and forth. It's a two-step process instead of a one-step process to deal with that. So I think it's better to just put it away and then sell whatever happens to be more than 99. It just becomes a little awkward if, when it is put in the box, it doesn't end up at the back of the box, like on the final page. If that doesn't end up happening, it can actually be quite difficult to find the damn materials to sell them, so yeah, I don't know. Like I say, it's a bit of extra work that I'd rather not have to do, but it is a necessity if I want to actually have space for anything in my box. My voice has sort of, it has deteriorated. I guess my voice is still not 100% yet. But, oh well. That's alright. It started off fine, I think, but it's, yeah, after about an hour of talking. Yeah, it's been an hour and 15 minutes. After that much time, it's sort of gone back to being a bit, well, just not sounding as clear as it could. Oh well. What do I want to bring? What would make this fun? I think something ranged. I'll bring rapid water. I don't do this nearly enough these days. It used to be the case, I think if I remember back to when I started recording this game properly for this channel for the first time, which was in 2015, I was quite regularly using Elemental Light Bowgun as a loadout choice. But these days I just don't do it much at all. In general, I tend to use the bowgun less than I ever have done. And I think I've just been a bit burnt out with using bowgun in general. I don't know how. But yeah, I used to consider myself a bowgun main in the end game of Monster Hunter games that I did play, but I definitely haven't been demonstrating that in recent years. So, there you have it. Alright, so my only reservation that I have, not Sleepy Fish. I do have some reservations about using this strategy against these monsters, and it's because, you know, the amount of ammunition I'm going to need is probably more than what I can actually supply. So, or more than I can have in my box. Not in my box, in my pouch, sorry. If I could have these guys bring water shots for me, that would make it much easier, but I don't want to overcomplicate it. I'll just bring what I can. Let me see what this gun can shoot. It shoots paralysis level 1, so I may as well bring that. It shoots pierce. What's the recoil on this thing? The recoil is some. So I think that's one step above low. So I think it goes low, some, average, high. So I should be able to shoot pierce level 3 without recoil, I think. With some recoil, maybe. Let's see. These guys are being awfully patient. It is a necessity for patience to be deployed. When you've got a gunner on the team, this should be okay, I hope. I haven't brought combination materials for anything except water shots, but that should be enough, I think. You know, there are 4 of us. Hey Vernon, good to see you. I'm live streaming at an awkward time. Not many people are able to tune in right now. But I see that you're awake. It's good to see you as well. I actually saw that you were online on Discord, and it was good to see. Just insofar as I can confirm that you are around and well. Well enough to be playing a video game anyway. Haven't seen much of you recently. I actually had completely forgotten that this was in the tundra. I don't think it matters which one of these Brachydios we start with. Oh. Very efficient. We've already had both monsters paintballed. Jacob, please come here. We are not splitting into 2 groups. I don't have the ammunition for this shit. Okay? I don't know why you guys have it in your head that we're going to be splitting into 2 groups. It's not happening. I'm not doing it. And now, where's Nick going? Has he been thrown out of the area? Probably. That's what happened. Yeah, he got thrown out of the area. But I'm not doing that shit. I'm not splitting into two groups when I've got limited ammunition to expand. Apparently these guys just can't stop themselves from fighting this monster in the door and getting thrown out of the area. This is a pretty large Brachydios, actually. This one's huge. This has to be a Gold Crown large. Look at him. Jesus. This is the size of the Super Brachy, I think. Jacob's fucking soloing his... Not Jacob, sorry, the other guy. Connor. He's soloing his Brachydios because, I don't know, maybe he's supremely unobservant and hasn't realized that I'm fighting this one with these guys. I don't know if these guys actually intended to two-man for purposes of, you know, challenging themselves, or if they were just too lazy to actually go to the one that we were fighting, and so just stayed here. I'm not sure, but I wasn't going to two-man. Not happening. I hate it when he just walks around in a circle for a while. It's asinine, just do something. What is Nick doing? Is he hell-bent on two-manning? You know, this is where I contemplate abandoning just out of pure protest. Like, why the fuck do you think I came here? Like, I'll be petty. I'm happy to be petty about this. I don't care. You know, if I want to hunt with 2 fucking people... And Connor's fainted as well. What a joke. What a fucking joke. Just fucking play with 4 people on 1 monster. Please, for goodness sake. I'm playing with 4 people so I can play with 4 people. I don't have the patience for that sort of behavior where I have very, very clearly joined them and Connor pig-headedly continues soloing the thing and they go and join, or one of them goes and joins Connor so that he's not soloing. Like, it's his fucking choice to solo it. And he's now dead, I should mention again. So, presumably, Connor is now going to join... Jacob, I don't know. And it just turns into a fucking pantomime. Oh no, he is coming back to this one, because I suppose he's more attached to the one that he's been fighting since the beginning, which makes sense. Jacob has been knocked out of the fucking area with that monster for possibly the 5th time now. I will actually put myself into peak performance. Looks like Jacob has wisened up to the fucking situation. Or has he not? What's he doing? I should actually mention that I am going to be put in a position where I have to do this quest 3 times. Because these guys all need to do their urgent. What in the fresh fuck is Jacob doing right now? Like, what is he doing? I don't know if he's lost or if he's confused or both, to be honest with you. I don't know why I did that. It's a bit of a waste of ammunition. I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get them all there. So the one with the broken crown is the one that we want to aim for. That's this one. Got a knockdown there, actually. Not a bad idea at all to be shooting the feet. Got a knockout, rather, not a knockdown. We really need to be careful with this larger one. Excellent, that one's leaving. Connor is magnetizing himself to the one that he's been fighting from the beginning, which is good. These guys don't give a shit. They just don't care. They are happy to just 2-man. I don't know what it is about that. Why are they so desperate to fucking 2-man? Well, Nick actually doesn't feel that way about it, after all. Oh no, he's just getting knocked out of the area again. That's their talent. That's their unique ability. It is getting knocked out of the area that they're fighting the monster in. And here we are again. With 2... You know what? I'm happy to do it. I don't care. I will be petty about this. Have fun soloing it, Connor. Don't blame me. Blame your smooth-brained fucking teammates. I have absolutely no desire to fight this monster with 2 people. Just don't particularly want to do it. We have a group of 4 people. If all 4 of us had fucking fought one goddamn monster, it'd be dead by now. Would have been dead a long time ago, in fact. Anyway. Again, frustratingly, I'm going to be subjected to this damn fight several times. Oops. Once I get down to 10, I think I'm going to stop it there. Combine the rest of my shots. And then I will save those for the next one, possibly. Very slow reload with Pierce level 3. Let's see if I've got recoil with it. I probably do. In which case I will switch to Pierce shots. Pierce level 2 is what I mean. Sorry, my brain has just been boiled by these fucking people that I'm playing with. Fortunately, I do not have any recoil to speak of. But yeah, the reload is fairly slow. That one's dead. I don't think the other one's going to take much longer to die anyway. Here's the situation. All of these guys need carves, right? They all need Brachydios materials. So if one of them dies and they're not there to carve it, they're just going to leave the one that they're fighting to go and carve that one anyway. Just keep it sensible, keep it efficient. Let's all stick together and hunt together. Jesus! That is some of the most aggressive attacking from a Brachydios I've seen. That's unbelievable. He just kept on unloading on them. They seem to deal with it fairly well, but yeah. Sorry, Connor. Oh god, that's one way to shit on the team, isn't it? Not really piercing through much of the monster at that angle. And Connor's dead again. Imagine if we failed this quest. I think Nick is soiling himself at the moment. Yeah, I feel like Pierce level 3 is just not... I feel like the full potential of it is not being realized with my positioning in relation to this monster, but that's alright. Quest is over. Yeah, one of my pet peeves in online play is when they want to split into two groups, you know. What I prefer to do is to hunt with 4 people on one monster, get it done nice and quickly, move on to the next one. Everyone carves together, move on to the next one. It's easier for me to work out my ammunition as well. But, yeah. As soon as I made it very clear that I didn't want to split into 2 groups, the guy actually pulled himself away from the one he had already been fighting to go and join the guy who pig-headedly refused to leave his monster as well. I mean, they were just... You know, there was a noticeable intransigence there, but, you know, I was also not being very flexible, so... I don't know. It pissed me off, though. Like I say, it's one of my pet peeves. I fucking hate it. I've always hated it. That's not going to change when I'm hunting with this group of people, so... Because this is Brachydios, I'm probably just going to go straight to selling the stuff that I have. Oh, that's actually the largest gold crown that I've fought. I did already have a gold crown, but that one's even bigger than the last one. And I was definitely right to say that that was a big fucking Brachydios. I haven't really discussed Wilds all that much, Vernon. The nutshell of it is that I don't care about it, and I'm unlikely to play it unless someone else who understands what I value in Monster Hunter says that I should give it a try. Connor says TY Zor. I don't know if that's a genuine comment or if he is being sarcastic. It's probably sarcasm. He probably feels at least one of his deaths was a result of me. Oh, he left. Poor baby. Well, admittedly, he probably felt the most aggrieved for the reason that I left him. But, you know, like, to treat it as me abandoning him is really the wrong way to look at it. He should have just looked at the situation, gone, oh shit, I'll go with him and then we can all play as a group of 4 people. But instead, as I say, he pig-headedly decided to solo the thing and then blamed me for his misfortune. So I don't really agree with the notion that I abandoned him, which is probably how he feels about it. Yeah, I'd say that was a sarcastic TY Zor before he left there. But yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds, I don't have any faith in Capcom's ability to make a game that's worthwhile at this point in the Monster Hunter series. The room will be disbanded as the host has left. They may actually regroup with a passworded room, or just regroup in general, I don't know. But, yeah. One way or another, I don't particularly want to continue hunting with them, because they're just going to keep posting that same urgent quest anyways, so... It's unfortunate, though. I would like to keep helping them, even though it gets a bit boring having to do the same urgent repeatedly. Look at all these fucking passworded rooms. If they have a group of 4 people to play with, that's obviously fair. But if they're only hunting with a small number of people, I don't know why they prevent the community from having rooms to join. It really frustrates me. It gives me the shits when people do this. I think it's selfish. But yeah, it's very different if you've got a group of 4 people and you need to make sure that everyone is able to join. But, and obviously that's not to any detriment for the community, because there would be no potential for someone to join anyway, because the room is full with you and your friends. But, you know, if you're preventing the potential for someone to join and have a room to hunt in, I think that's unfair. Yeah, if you're wanting to play like that, go somewhere that I can't see it. It'll be out of sight, out of mind, and it won't be relevant anymore. What was the quest? I got distracted by these 2 people. I was looking at their loadouts. Just visually. It's Royal Ludroth. Wow. That's exciting. What's a weird fire weapon that I can use? I don't really want to use the Anima Reaper. I used that not too long ago. Nicholas needs to capture it for a Wyvern Stone. Is this really the best fucking quest you can do? You're HR broken. You're not like HR 6. Surely you can do, I don't know, a Diablos quest. I would guarantee that capturing a Diablos would give you a better chance at getting a Wyvern Stone than capturing a Royal Ludroth. You know what I might do? I might check to see what quests give a better chance. Because there's no way that capturing a Royal Ludroth is going to be that good. I mean, there's going to be a risk of us killing it accidentally. That's the reason why I don't particularly want to capture it. Why am I in caps lock? Come on. I'm going to check the 3G decks. Large one, he says. Really? Sorry, I thought you meant the low rank one, or the high rank one rather. Okay. Obviously, the prospect of grinding Royal Ludroth is not a very exciting prospect. Wrong keyboard. Okay, large wyvern stone. I'm just going to find the highest drop rate. Yeah, the highest drop rate is Black Diablos. You capture him and cut the tail. Like what? Black Diablos. Now, admittedly, I don't want to hunt Black Diablos either. You need it quick, you're about to get off. Well, I can do one Royal Ludroth, I suppose. Why not? If he's not going to grind it, I can handle doing one. Well, hopefully he will keep that in mind for the next time that he wants to grind for that shit. Yeah, I'll bring the adjudition, why not? What? Oh, this is just painful. This is painful. The guy needs to go soon, and I'm now having to get ready not once but twice. Alright, what's the best loadout to get this guy's fucking... I'll just bring longsword, whatever. Yeah. He decided black. Okay. Yeah, they took my advice. It's just worth it. You're getting 2% better on the tail and 1% better on the capture, and presumably the quest reward chance will be much higher as well. So, I haven't checked the quest reward chance because that requires an understanding of what the quest names are. I don't know what all the quest names are, so... Yeah, I think this one's called Midnight Madness. Yep, so it's 5% quest reward for this one. As for the Ludroth one, I don't know, but I would presume that it would be sitting closer to 2% or 3% on the quest reward for that. I really, really should have brought fucking... Sonic bombs, that's the word that I'm looking for. Thanks, Doomlink. Once everyone's here, I will drop a shock trap so that we can hit the tail a little bit. Can't believe I'm using a longsword. I will be aiming for the legs for knockdowns. Obviously good for tail opportunities. Alright, I think everyone's here. Shock trap down. I'm not using any spirit combo attacks here because they are all a bit too low hanging to reach this tail. Alright, we will have other opportunities to hit it, but that was some good damage dealt to the tail there. Yeah, no problem then. Oh god. Starting to lose my charge. Was hoping I'd be able to not get caught in a hitbox there, but I did. My aim was to roll under the body and then miss the body hitbox. That did not play out that way. We could try to use the ledge or one of the anthills. I only have rock steady, not good enough for this roar. Just making sure my webcam view is fine. Because I'm getting a bit of light spillage from the window behind me. Just wanted to make sure that wasn't coming through negatively. So he hasn't actually destroyed the ledge because we flinched him there. That was courtesy of a slime explosion. So we could use the ledge again if we wanted to. Oh, that's not the time to be using that. He is about as enraged as he gets. Or she, sorry. We've been over this. I was worried that in doing my X plus A and R that I would end up carving accidentally because I was standing on the tail. Fortunately not. Yeah, congratulations, you bastard. I wish that I had a honed blade set with high-grade earplugs. I probably could make one. Just feels like a waste. This set's really nice. Because it's got weakness exploit as well as raw resistance and attack up large, sharpness +1. It's a good loadout. There we go, got our knockdown. Now I'll go for the chest. There's a lot of flailing of limbs going on here. It's one example of why having raw resistance is really helpful. You know, I could have used that to level up my longsword finally. I've been hunting this monster from the moment the quest began, and I have yet to actually get a full spirit combo out. Unfortunately, this monster just moves way too... Do you realize when this monster is actually susceptible to sonic bombs, or are you just throwing them randomly in the hopes that it's actually going to do something eventually? Don't know. It's probably a good guess, though. May as well sharpen up. Stamina is getting a bit weird. Well, not weird. It's getting a bit concerning. If it drops any further, it will be a bit inconvenient for me, but I'll just grit my teeth and endure it. Again, just wasting all of his sonic bombs. I don't know what to tell this guy. You can actually watch to see how quickly he's burrowing to figure out if he's enraged or not, much less looking for the smoke that's coming out of his mouth. As for why there's black smoke coming out of his mouth, her mouth, I couldn't say for sure. But that is one indicator. Alright, she'll be on the ground for a while now, so should be able to level up my goddamn longsword. She was not on the ground for as long as I had hoped. I did not level up my longsword. I can now level up my longsword, finally. Only took like 7 minutes. Oh. Health is not looking amazing, but I will persist with my attack. Why didn't that work? That was actually an opportunity for him to... That was the first time that he'd thrown a sonic bomb at a time that it should work, but didn't actually work for one reason or another. Maybe she was already in the process of leaving the area at that time. It didn't look like that's what was happening, but I can't think of any other reason why that would fail. A monster cannot be simultaneously enraged and exhausted. Not even Deviljho can do that. Well, sorry, missed the capture, but you've still got the quest reward chance and the tail carve chance. This guy's saying no stone. Just relax, mate. You're unlikely to get it on the first attempt anyway, and I never said that you could carve it from the body anyway. Is that in response to what I said? Because there's a difference between a capture reward and a quest reward, my friend. Anyway. Yeah, I managed to get one. I won't tell him that, though. Don't want to rub it in. Yeah, I most likely stole his, I guess, is how we can look at that. I'll do one more quest. Actually, maybe 2 more, because I did have a part of the live stream that needed to be cut because there was nothing going on, so it's probably better if I do 2 more quests. Cole has joined. I was hunting with him yesterday. There's a lot of disk loading going on. I think Nicholas is the person who's leaving, isn't he? So I think the room's going to close. most likely. That was fun, says Mike Itz. Why is my fucking keyboard not working? Jesus. I actually don't know if it's Mike Itz or Nicholas leaving. I think it's Nicholas. I don't want your guild card, sorry. Yeah, it looks like he is. So, I'm just gonna leave. I don't want to have to reconnect. Look at these pricks. See, this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. Every single one of these people, like these 3 rooms, they don't have a group of 4 people, right? Yet they've passworded the room. I have been left in a situation where, because I have to leave this room because it's closing, I'm sitting here with no room to join because they are refusing to allow people to come and hunt with them from the general community. Which is pretty insulting, especially considering that the game's going to shut down soon. They're actually, you know, putting up a walled garden saying, no, we want a very controlled experience here with no randoms. If you're not having a good experience with them, communicate with them or kick them. You know, don't prevent people from being able to join. Well, fortunately Tavo is here. He's going to save the last part of the live stream, which is good of him. Just going to call it G rank and then join the tavern. It was very good timing, Tavo. But yeah, I'll just do 2 hunts with you and then I'll finish up the live stream. But again, the perfect example. 3 fucking rooms, all passworded. And I'll reiterate, if you've got a group of 4, of course that is a scenario in which it is perfectly reasonable and necessary, in fact, to put a password on the room. It's to make sure that all 4 of you can get in there without needing to kick people or asking others to leave. But if there's only 2 of you, what are you doing? What are you playing at? At least go into a different world or different online lobby. Don't sit in the main one and then dangle the potential in front of all of us while we sit there feeling frustrated that we can't join. I feel like that's really obvious, really clear, but I don't know. It's a common thing in this community for people to just put that passworded room and then tough shit for everyone who has nowhere else to go. What can we do? Kona's 13, who is hunter rank, well, I can see it's in 2 digits, so. I'm probably, yeah, I'll just post something of my own. I think we'll do Duty's Call, which is Ludroth, Nagakuga, and Lagia Cruz. I was bouncing my keyboard very awkwardly though. I can see that the Kona's guy is using the Lagio Voltivorte, which is an uncommon hammer, but a much more attractive one than the Abyssal Lagio Cruz hammer. In fact, that's another Abyssal weapon that I haven't made yet, the hammer. I'm pretty sure that I never made it. Yeah, I didn't. Well, there you are. So it's the heavy bowgun and the hammer that I haven't made. Assuming that I never did make the heavy bowgun at some point. No, I did make the heavy bowgun. That's ridiculous. Why would I make that instead of the hammer? Unless I decided that the Lagio Voltivorte was actually a little better. But I don't think I did. Ugh. I don't think I've ever come to that conclusion. Anyway. All of the monsters in this quest are weak to fire, so I'll bring something fire related. I think saying fire related is a bit pointless, isn't it? It's not just related to fire, it's fire focused. It has fire. I could bring a switch axe. Do I have like an awakened fire switch axe? I don't know. There aren't many awakened switch axes in the game, to be honest, so... Yeah, I suppose I'll just bring the Crimsidian, is it called? Yeah. I don't use it very often, so I'm happy to use it for this quest. It's very effective. I mean, the Morales weapons are all quite good. They've got such huge chunks of purple, and that makes a big difference, because they're high element, high sharpness. So provided you're fighting monsters that are elementally weak to fire, it's a good choice. And they look really cool as well. That's a fairly obvious plus point. Cambiano amor. Okay. I will bring some hot drinks, not for this quest, but for a future quest, where I may get some use out of having hot drinks in my inventory. Topped up my whetstones there, I only had 10. I might actually bring stamina recovery stuff. Energy drink? Nah. Jeez. I've got Rathalos ribs. Fuck's sake. I don't have many energy drinks. I mean, I have some Mega Dash juice, but... Yeah, I guess I'll bring energy drinks. I use them so infrequently that only having 8 will probably be enough to tide me over for however long. I'm not going to use it for sleep, by the way. Just for stamina recovery. I probably have whatever is needed to combine for them. I'll just have to check what the combination for it is. I don't remember. Actually, I may have been able to go straight to Area 9. I think that might be where Royal Ludroth starts. Oh well, I've gone the long way. It will be a pretty quick quest. It's a triple quest, so they will have reduced health, needless to say. Nope. Let's get out of the way of that. I actually feel bad for this guy. You can see I've got an elemental file on this switch axe as well, so it's all in on the element here. What damage are we dealing? So it's 460 fire, with the obvious scaling from purple sharpness, and the element file as well. Oh, I was not keeping track of my axe charge at all. I should use the Morales weapons more often. They are unique to this game, so... You know, I shouldn't really be in a position to say that it's worth using a different fire weapon, except for perhaps the Anima Reaper. Like, for example, I should be using the Morales Sword and Shield instead of the Golden Rathian Sword and Shield, so... And the reason why is because I can use the Gold Rathian Sword and Shield in other games. So... There's no reason to not use a perfectly fine weapon that looks really cool and is unique to this game. That would be the much better choice. There we go. Goodbye. Is it... It's probably just Mega Potions, isn't it? I will carve once to find out. but I believe it is Mega Potions. Yes. Speeds things up a little bit. Yeah, you can see that there's daylight on me. Must be the angle of the sun. It doesn't seem to be negatively impacting my webcam view too much, so I think that's fine. Just making sure that I haven't been subconsciously positioning myself too close to my microphone. I've explained it before, but I've set up my audio levels to accommodate my mouth being a little bit further away from the microphone than before. I'm doing that just so that I don't have the situation where the windscreen of the microphone is like getting in the way of my face at all. I want it to be like away from me. So yeah, if I get too close to the microphone when I've set my audio levels like this, I'm going to be getting a little bit of not distortion necessarily, but my compressor is going to be kicking in a bit too hard, and it's, you know, it's not like a physical outboard compressor or some kind of separate compressor unit. So it's just a digital one, so it's not going to sound that great if it's attenuating too much volume. Yeah, so technically this is not the primary weakness for this monster, but it's still perfectly acceptable. He's almost as weak to fire as he is weak to thunder. I don't know why they made the choice to change the elemental weakness. It doesn't make much sense to me. He just seems like a monster that would be primarily weak to fire, and he was originally, but they changed it. I will actually carve this guy for Mega Potions because I've used a few. He has gotten the better of me a few times now. I'm actually not so much a fan of the sword mode design for this switch axe, but the axe design looks very cool. It's got a very tasteful shape to it. Just as I started attacking. But yeah, the sword just doesn't look that exciting. I guess it looks fine. There's nothing bad about it. It's just not as striking as the axe version. I'm just going to exclusively use Mega Potions because I get them for free from this quest anyway, so... Bottoms up, as they say. I should be turning to see where the monster is so that I can time my roll, which because I know that there's an attack coming, but I'm not really playing up to standard. See, I'm spending all of my time turning instead of... Oh, for fuck's sake, that's gonna stun me probably, is it? No. I don't know why I'm getting hit so much by him. Getting hit a lot more than usual, that's for sure. Reminds me of that really uncooperative Giganox from before. I just was not syncing with that monster, and I feel the same way about this Nagakuga. It's just not working for me. And Tavo's dead. He seems to be having a similar experience. Oh, not good. Fortunately, he flinched in that moment, which worked very well for me. Can you believe how much I've healed in this fight? See, that's what I need to be doing every time. It's much easier to evade through the wing than through the body, fairly obviously. Different sized hitbox. Oh, don't want to get hit by that tail. There's a follow-up too. This fight is only taking as long as it's taking because I think I've been spending so much time getting hit and also healing that I haven't been able to maintain decent DPS. This prick should be dead by now. Makes me wish I still had the Royal Ludroth to carve. I will sharpen up momentarily, but while I have the opportunity, I'll just keep unloading on him here. I'm not sure where he goes to sleep. I think he goes to Area 2 or something. Looks like he's heading up to Area 8 though. Yep. Feels weird fighting him here. He's usually dead before he can get this far. Alright, Mega Potions please. I'm very much in need of them. Hopefully my performance will be a little bit better against the Lagia crews, but it will be underwater, so I'm not going to make any assumptions about that. Well, I'm not going to make positive assumptions about the outcome of the fight. So Lagia crews will spawn just up ahead. Some people have actually memorized not just the position, but also the depth within the water that Lagia crew spawns. You know, they'll set up traps and bombs and all of this business. I haven't gotten to the point where I can quite so accurately determine where the monster spawns, but anyway. Yeah, that looks about right. Nicely done. Good start to the fight. Bit of a rude introduction for the Lagia crews. He probably doesn't appreciate that. Oh my god. What a start. I was pressing the wrong buttons there. I was repeatedly hitting plus on my controller because apparently I think it's Monster Hunter Tri. That's precisely how you do it in Tri, but in this game you do X plus A and then hit plus. In Tri it's only plus, I think. Oh no, in this game it's X plus A and then you spam X, I think. Weirdly, I just did it before, but now I'm really confused. Again, this is what happens when you play multiple versions of Monster Hunter. Especially a version of Monster Hunter that looks almost exactly the same. Let me figure that out. I think it is... Am I correct about that? Yes. Yep, so it's X plus A and then you spam X. So I believe all of that is just the plus button in Monster Hunter Tri. I don't think I'm remembering that wrong. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons. Okay, so R to reload, thank you. That's fairly logical. You know, I have been rolling from the moment you... No, he's going to combo me. Holy shit. What is it about these monsters today? I don't know what it is. Let's try not to fail this quest, shall we? We were doing so well at the start of that fight, now I'm dead, so... I guess if the monster's moving, then it's too difficult for me. Is that the point? Fuck's sake. I'm tempted to not use a max potion, but I will, and the reason why is because I don't want to run the risk of failing this quest. That would be ridiculous. It's a bit of a journey back to the fight, but I'll be there before we know it. Stamina's not perfect, but I'm going to survive with 100 stamina for now, and then if it drops down and it feels like it's worth it, I will consume an energy drink. Which reminds me, and hopefully I won't forget by the time I finish the quest, or by the time I've returned from the quest, but I should try to actually combine for some energy drinks. I'm going to turn over a new leaf and actually start trying to... That's probably a limping Lagiacrus, actually, if he's already in Area 12. But yeah, I probably shouldn't have used a max potion. But, yeah, I'm going to turn over a new leaf and start bringing energy drinks to my quests. How good of me to do. Well, that was a bit of a waste of a max potion, but... yeah. I did have it in the back of my mind that that might be what would happen, but... whatever. I feel like I didn't contribute that much, but... well, I did at the start, obviously, but... I had to spend the entire time getting back to the fight. Or what felt like most of the fight. Alright. I'll combine for some, or attempt to combine for some more energy drinks, just so that I can have them in the box. I took my whole supply and put it in my pouch, which was 8 energy drinks. So I'll do that, and then we'll do one more hunt. And then that will conclude the live stream. This has been one of the lowest viewerships I've had on a live stream in a long time, I should mention. It's been sitting at about 3 views for the last 2 hours, so yeah. I'm just glad that I have a viewership for my YouTube uploads, quite frankly. But that is always how I've done it. I'm actually going to sell the 100th Conqueror's Seal that I have in my box, if I can find it, which I should be able to. I'm going to hazard a guess that it will be next to the first stack of Conqueror's Seals. I'm going to remove these, going to sell that Conqueror Seal that I mentioned. Admittedly, I don't know where the Conqueror Seals even are. Found them without too much difficulty. I do actually have I got a Cosmic ticket at the start of this recording, now that I recall. I have 10 of them now, that's pretty cool. I got it because I was hunting with Tavo, actually. It pays to make friends online. Who would have thought? I've got 29 True Armor Spheres at the moment, which is not too bad. Energy drinks. I have presumably combined for them before. Honey and nitro shroom. Okay. I suppose I can relinquish some of my honey for the sake of this goal. That'll do. There we are. And it's going to take me a while to get through 43 of them, because really the only times that I'm going to use energy drinks is when I'm in desperate need of stamina, and it only happens like, you know, once every recording or once every 2 recordings. It's not a constant thing, so yeah. I'm not going to get through them that quickly. Let's do 2 steel Uragan. Of course, Steel Uragan has become very notorious because he is the lowest rated monster, the least favorited among the people who were polled. I still don't know where that poll was conducted and who voted, but because I didn't know anything about it until after the fact, but yeah, he is the least favored monster in the series, apparently. So let's fight him. Let's give him some attention, the poor bastard. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to bring Dragon. I'm going to do it. It's time. The Silesia Ender Axe. Now this is a fucking weapon. This right here is a weapon. And I'm excited to use it because I completely forgot that I had it for some reason. Relative to the other weapons that I've actually forged in the game, this is one of the most recent ones that I've forged. But yeah, I promptly forgot that it existed after having forged it, so let's remedy that situation. Again, I've decided that using Awaken with it is just not worth it. It gives me 100 dragon on the axe mode, which is not much at all. And I'm going to be getting dragon damage from the dragon file anyway. The reason why I am not comfortable using Awaken is not just because the amount of dragon is low when using Awaken, it's just 100. It is mainly because I am not convinced that the 100 dragon element on the switch axe is actually going to stack with the dragon file. I don't know. If I could get a confirmation absolutely that it does stack, maybe I would use Awaken under those circumstances, but I'm worried that when it goes into the sword mode with dragon file, it might cancel out the element. It doesn't sound logical now that I phrase it that way, but I'm just not sure. At any rate, it is good to focus on different skills, so I've maxed out my attack and my sharpness, and yeah, I'll be able to get dragon damage. As you can see, the sharpness is great. The damage is very good as well, so. Oh, it looks like Soul Hunter, which obviously is Soul Hunter, but written in Japanglish. Looks like he will be able to join in. He's got a very generic loadout. It's about as generic as it gets for this game. Actually, no, you can get more generic than that. You can use that longsword with the Goldbeard Cedeus set. That's probably even more generic. Cambiando armor, says Konos 13. I can't believe this guy actually named himself Soul Hunter. But you never know, he might actually be Japanese. It's possible. I'm excited to use this switch axe. And I'm excited to fight the least favored monster in the entire Monster Hunter series. I mean, it's a bit sad, isn't it? Because if you think about what other monsters exist in the series, like you've got... Surely Steel Uragan... Hold on, there must be monsters that didn't get any votes, right? I didn't actually check what the numbers were. I might have to double check, because this is important. My guess is that there are some monsters that are just so crap. Well, I suppose you can get joke votes, can't you? So if you get people, you know, voting as a joke for, say, Vespoid Queen, or Bulldrome, or Velocidrome, for example, then you know, maybe something much more substantial like a steel Uragan will end up being the bottom voted thing, because it's not shit enough of a fight to get joke votes, but it's also not good enough of a monster to get legitimate votes, and so it ends up being the lowest voted. I think that's probably the logic to the situation. So it's not really an accurate vote, or a fair vote, but that's what's happened. So I feel bad for him. I think he's definitely not the worst monster in the series. That's just not fair. I was surprised to see people agreeing. They were like, yeah, Uragan's not that good of a monster. I'm like, well, there's nothing wrong with him. But look at the size of this one, by the way. This is definitely a Gold Crown Large. He's a big mother. Looks like that one's going to leave immediately, so we may as well just start with this one. We haven't been fighting the giant... They're both really big. Either that or they're always big and I'm being stupid, but I think they're both Gold Crown size. Very good. Alright. I'll have to go raw damage now, which is fine. I almost never upswing there. The only time that I upswing under those circumstances, or under circumstances such as those, is if I do it accidentally, and that's definitely what happened this time. I actually forgot to move my character forward, as I always do. Not that I always forget, I mean that I always move my character forwards when I do that attack, but I forgot to do it that time, so I ended up upswinging instead. In close proximity to other hunters, which is deplorable, to be honest. Like, that sort of behavior, well, if one were to do it intentionally, that would be deplorable. But, no, as an occasional mistake, it is acceptable. Can barely see what's going on. If you're confused as to what's going on, I can assure you that I am similarly confused. Due to how much purple sharpness this weapon actually has, I will be sharpening straight back up to purple once it drops to white. On top of that, yeah, it's only a tiny sliver of white anyway, so there's not much point trying to make use of that. Very good. That was a very, very quick confrontation. I feel bad for him. He didn't really have much time to do anything. I'd say that was actually really impressive, because, you know, brute wyverns of this tier actually have a decent amount of health, and we just completely wiped out that health. It's not like we're doing a high rank quest. Well, good team. See how quick we can do this one. I can see another trap going down. Looks like Tavo just got it out before getting hit. Annoyingly, I can't actually participate in good conscience because I am not at purple sharpness. Very good. When the camera changed there, I thought that was the death animation. I was about to say, that's quite impressive considering that we're not all here right now. I'm not sure what Connors is doing. I actually don't know how long he's been standing there, but... Oh! That was nearly a really desperately terrible combo that saw the death of me. Oh, fuck off. Can I reload in time? Yes, I can. That is the best possible reload you can get when you're just about to go back into the yellow. Because when you reload, it is always that set amount that you get added to your charge. I swear that I dived there, but apparently I didn't. Fortunately, I did, however, get hit by the chin rather than the stench. So, I'm getting completely beaten to the extreme by this particular Uragan. Seems to be a theme of this recording, I don't know what it is. Which monster would I put at the very bottom of the list? Probably Bulldrome. Or is there a monster that's even worse than Bulldrome? I think that's the real consideration here. It's not... I mean, it technically is that as well. It is what monster would I put at the bottom of the list, but specifically what I'm having to consider is what monster in the series is worse than Bulldrome. That's a very scary internet-related issue there. I don't know what's worse than Bulldrome. My answer currently for the worst monster is Bulldrome, but... well, Vespoid Queen's pretty shitty, but... at least Vespoid Queen has a certain novelty to her. So... you know, before I had actually fought Vespoid Queen, and I saw her on the list of monsters, like, realizing that there was a Vespoid that was actually classified as a large monster in the monster list, I was fascinated, and I wanted to experience it. Whereas, you know, if I saw that there was a Bullfango that was considered a large monster, I would not be in any way enthused by that. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh wow, a Bullfango that's a large monster. No. No thank you. So, this is the thing. I think it has to be Bulldrome. And until I think of a worse contender, or perhaps we could say a better contender for worst contestant, that's how it's going to be. But no, some people will have voted for Bulldrome as a joke. There's no way that anyone, like anyone, genuinely thinks that Bulldrome is a better monster than this. And I believe how the poll was conducted was by people placing single votes on their favourite monster. So if people are casting their single vote for monsters like Velocidrome and Bulldrome, obviously those are joke votes. So, you know, like I said before, Steel Uragan isn't good enough to get legitimate votes and isn't bad enough to get joke votes. He's a monster of middling quality. And for that reason, he has suffered. He's found himself in a terrible position. And I almost feel for him, but anyway. You know what would be cooler than a Bulldrome? A large monster version of a Rhinopolis. At least it would look cool. I'm surprised they never did that. That would be cooler than the bear monsters, actually. Having a great Rhinopolis. No, they'd probably call it something different. But yeah, I'd like that. I'm sure they considered it. But it just never happened, I suppose. I have to say though, the monster that I'd probably put at the bottom of the list that was obviously superior to any of those drome monsters, like the obviously basic ones like Velocidrome, Eodrome, Gendrome, Bulldrome, Vespoid Queen. So like the worst legitimate large monster, I'd say that would be Duratotus. Because I distinctly remember that monster in World, and it was just the most... It was just a wet fart. It was pathetic. It was the most uninspired, unexciting confrontation ever. It was just a mudfish that was just, I don't know, swimming in the mud. It was ridiculous. I couldn't believe what they were doing with that monster. It was just hastily thrown together using the Lavazioth body, presumably because they couldn't make Lagiocrus work for the game, so they just quickly threw together a thing swimming in the mud. But anyway, that's what I was doing. I was selling my Uragan stuff. Unfortunately for Koners, I am closing the room, so he's going to have to do his quest elsewhere. I do thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time I'm recording Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Like I've said before, this is going to be the game that I will be playing exclusively in the series until the Wii U servers shut down. But I'll see you when I'm next recording. Bye bye for now.